In this video, we're going to look at rounding on your calculator using the TI30XS Multiview. All of these problems are problems directly from Chapter 5, and I noted which examples they are, and it'll show you how to enter them into your calculator and then how to round at the end. So something very important about this section, it may be tempting to put in part of a formula and then round your result and then do another part of the computation in the order of operations. But you need to have it all in the calculator at once or you will definitely get rounding errors. So let's look at the first one. This is Chapter 5, Objective 6 worked example, and it shows you how to set up the formula and it gives you the result, but it does not show you this calculator portion. So you can reference this later. So first, I want to set up a fraction. Okay. Notice the key press history is up here if you need to review this later. The numerator has 10,000 in it. And the denominator, I'm going to set this up just like I see it. So I need parentheses, 1 plus a new fraction, 0.048, divided by 12. Move the arrow to the right and close the parentheses. Now I'm going to use the caret for the exponent. And you can multiply this first, or you can just multiply it in there, 12 times 5. Okay, now check to make sure the expression matches up. I'm going to move to the right and out of the fraction. I like to do that to check to make sure it's correct. And now I hit enter. Okay. So notice to two decimal places, we have a 4 in the hundredths place, but the digit to the right is a 5. So I'm going to round up to 7870.05. So I've updated our result right here. Okay, so notice it said to round to the nearest cent. The nearest cent, the cents place is the hundredths place like a penny, and that is two decimal places. Now I'm going to show you something here so you know how to check your answers. So if we go to mode, and if you look at the third row, right here it says float, and that means it's going to give you as many decimal places as it can. But notice here it says 0, 1, 2, 3, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so nearest cent is two decimal places. Okay, so if you want to check this, I'm going to go over to 2, hit enter. Okay, now I'm going to hit second quit to go back to the main screen. Okay. And now I'm actually just going to hit enter and have it simplify this expression. And notice this matches up. Okay, now here's the thing you really want to be careful with. Okay, so in some other case you may need to round to some other amount of decimal places. So in general, for this mode, you should keep this on float. And only use this to check your answer if you need to, maybe on a test, or if you're having trouble and you want to make sure you're rounding correctly. Otherwise, if you need something to 3 decimal places, it'll give you 2, and you might think that's correct and you're done when you're not. Okay, let's look at the next one. I'm going to clear everything out. Here it says compute and round to 2 decimal places. Okay, this is Chapter 5, Objective 6 Media Example Part A, if you want to reference it later. Okay, so notice we start with 7,000, then we need to enter the parentheses. We have 1 plus this fraction, so 1 plus 0.034 over 12. Again, using the arrow keys to move around. Now I move out of the fraction to close the parentheses. Now I'll use the caret button to get an exponent and put 12 times 8. Okay, I'm going to move out. Okay, I'm going to double check this. It's longer, so the 7,000 is over there. So if you want to double check it, you can use the arrow to see that this is correct. Okay, so now I'm going to hit enter. So to 2 decimal places, this is $9,184.58. Since the third decimal place is a 5, you round up. Just to check that, let's go to mode I'm going to change it to 2 decimal places. And I'm going to hit second quit to get back out. And here it is rounded, and that checks with our result. And I've updated our answer right here. So now let's look at the next one, the last one. So it says compute, change your answer from a decimal to a percent, then round to 2 decimal places. So there's something really important here. You're going to learn in this chapter that this is actually something called the annual percentage rate. Okay, so this answer is going to be a percent. Okay, but if you round it before you multiply by 100 to change it to a percent, so you're going to be given a decimal. If you round it first, then you could get an incorrect answer. Okay, so here, let's put in our parentheses, 1 plus fraction 0.05 over 365. I want to close this out, raise it to the 365th power. Now we need minus 1. Right now it's up in the exponent, so make sure you hit the right arrow until it goes down. And minus 1. Okay. So I don't want to multiply by 100 now. Okay, I want to do it after this is all computed. I could have put that in the formula, but then it'd be a big giant parentheses times 100. It would make it even messier. So what you need to know is you enter it, and oh, I still have it on to round to 2 decimal places, which is actually good because I want to show you how that could go wrong. Okay, so this is the result rounded to 2 decimal places, 5%. Let's go to mode and put it back on float. And I'll enter it again. Okay, and now these are all of our decimal places. Okay. So now to change it to a percent, we're going to multiply by 100. Okay, so times 100. Okay, so by hitting multiplication, it takes my previous answer, multiplies it by 100. So you don't want to punch this in on your own. You don't want to punch in a rounded version because you can lose accuracy. And this is our percent answer. So to 2 decimal places, after it's to a percent, it's 5.1. This 6 would be rounded up to a 3. Okay, so now if we look at 2 decimal places after it's changed to a percent, it should verify our result. Oops, I multiplied by 100 again. Let me divide by 100 to undo that. And there's our 5.13%. Okay, so you can round here to 2 decimal places. Okay, you can use the mode and it will give you the decimal places you asked for. But always remember to, when you're all done, switch it back to float or else you can get an incorrect answer. Let's go back. And I've written our final result. And again, that was Chapter 5, Objective 8 Worked Example. You're shown how to set this up in the formula, and you're given the final answer, but now you know how to compute it on the calculator.